This segment is sponsored by Edward Jones. For a business owner, exit planning is all about being proactive and prioritizing the things you can control about transitioning away from ownership. And joining us now to share effective exit plan strategies is Nicole Martin, a financial advisor with Edward Jones. Welcome. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. So, Nicole, if someone is a business owner, they're thinking about down the road exiting, why should they start that plan right now?
Yeah, well, the Exit Planning Institute says 80 to 90% of a business owner's wealth is invested in their business. They go on to say that 70 to 80% of businesses that list for sale, they never sell. So it's important to start the process early, kind of begin with the end in mind. It can help you set strategy. It can help you determine who to hire, how to finance your business, if you think about where you want to be when you're ready to exit.
Yeah, like any good execution, you need a plan.
That's
What is
right.
the very first thing that someone should do to start that plan?
Yeah, I'd encourage people to think about the 5 Ds. The 5 Ds are death, disability, disagreement, divorce, or the fifth one escapes me.
Okay.
But those things, if you think about them early on, it'll help you lay out where you're going. It's that kind of, if you don't know where you're going, any road will get you there. So considering how to plan for those things up front will help a lot.
All right, we have it up there, disagreements, right?
Thank you, disagreements.
Walk us
That's
through
the
that.
fifth.
What do you mean by that?
Well, disagreements could be in a partnership. I mean, things start out good, and then you have different ideas on how you should sell the business or who you should sell it to.
That makes sense. What should people do to prepare for the 5 Ds? Now, I know each one is quite different, so
Sure.
there might be a different plan, but just give us an overall.
Yeah, so at a top level, working with a financial advisor. Edward Jones has advisors nationwide, and working with an advisor would help you. They'll be there with you in the beginning, while you're going through the process, and then after you have exited the business, it's important to think about what you're going to do, where you're going, will you get enough out of the sale of the business in order to make a comfortable life for yourself after you exit.
I'm wondering if you can share, some of the biggest mistakes maybe someone makes when they're going to exit, and maybe they've done some things or not done some things, and it's not going to make it a smooth process.
Yeah.
What would those be?
Well, planning. Really planning is the answer.
Yeah.
If you think about where you want to be, what does life look like after you've exited your business? When you no longer have to be up at 7 a.m. or 9 a.m. or you no longer have to be out until X time in the afternoon. It's kind of like the empty nester. What do you do after the family's gone? What do you do after your baby is launched and gone? So I think people don't think enough about that early on.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, it's one thing to have a thriving business. Now you want to exit, you create that plan to exit successfully, but what's your next plan?
That's
And what do
exactly
your
right.
finances look like? It sounds like working with a good planner can really help you every step of the way.
That's right. And having other folks, the tax preparers, legal professionals in the process, a business valuation expert, and depending on how you decide to sell your business, maybe you need an investment banker, or maybe you need an employee stock ownership advisor. And working with someone to help you along the way can uncover those things sooner rather than later, so you do have a smooth exit.
Yeah, a lot of things to think about. As we wrap up here, is there anything else a business owner should be aware of when they start to think about their strategy for their exit plan?
Yeah, understand your valuation. Understand what your business is worth. And we recommend that you start this process 3 to 5 years before you want to exit.
Wow.
Because if the valuation isn't where it will support you later in life, well, we have some time to make those changes. We can get the business brokers, et cetera, involved, and you can create a solid plan that'll get you where you're going.
All right, a solid plan. That's what I'm hearing. We got to have a
Yes.
plan. Thank you so very much.
Of course,
This
thank
is very
you.
helpful, of course. To connect with one of the 20,000 plus financial advisors near you, go to edwardjones.com.